Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we will bring you news about the San Bernardino mass shooting, news from the City Council meeting yesterday, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Well, yesterday, midday, reports started streaming in that there was a shooting going on at a facility in San Bernardino, California. Ultimately, at least 14 people are now dead, with another 17 injured in a shooting Wednesday. Gunmen who were heavily armed and on a mission opened fire during a function at a center for people with developmental disabilities, police said. Police believe two alleged shooters, a county employee and his wife, opened fire around 11 a.m. at the Inland Regional Center. They were armed with AR-15 type rifles and prepared to do what they did as if they were on a mission, San Bernardino Police Chief Jared Bergen said. Investigators were still trying to determine a motive, but have not ruled out terrorism. We have no information at this point to indicate that this is terrorist-related in the traditional sense that people may be thinking. Obviously, at minimum, we have a domestic terrorist type situation that occurred here, Bergman said. The FBI later said that terrorism was a possibility. The FBI has brought in their terrorism strike team to assist in the investigation. The suspects fled the scene, and hours later, police found what they believed to be the getaway car in the nearby city of Redlands, California. When the car left a house there, they followed it and a chase ensued. There was an exchange of gunfire, and two of the suspects, a man and a woman, were killed. Police identified them as Sayed Farouk, 28, and Tashfeen Malik, 27, respectively, husband and wife. They leave behind a 6-month-old child that had been left with grandparents when they left to do the shooting. Police said that Farouk, who worked as an environmental specialist and had worked with the county for 5 years, had been at a holiday party and training event for the San Bernardino Department of Public Health. He left the event early and appeared to be angry, police said. The suspects were dressed in assault-style clothing and armed with rifles and handguns. One officer suffered non-life-threatening injuries in the shootout. San Bernardino Police spokeswoman Sergeant Vicky Cervantes said earlier that the suspects may have been wearing body armor. There was some planning on this. I don't think they just ran home and grabbed these weapons. Police were still investigating the vehicle Wednesday night, and what was believed to be a pipe bomb recovered was found not to be an explosive. Police did find and destroy 3 separate pipe bombs at the IRC facility. Police detained a third suspect in Redlands neighborhood after receiving reports that someone was jumping a fence, San Bernardino County Sheriff John McMahon said. The initial shooting at the Social Services Center lasted for just a few minutes before the suspects fled. The majority of the casualties took place in one area of the massive facility that employed several hundred people. A lunch meeting was going on involving state and county employees as well as a number of organizations. 5 people were taken to the nearby Loma Linda University Medical Center, 2 of which were critical but stable, 2 of which were fair, and the one that was still being assessed, according to a hospital spokeswoman. 6 other people are being treated at Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, though their conditions are unknown. Federal agents from the FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Service, Homeland Security Investigations Team, and the U.S. Marshals are all on scene providing support to San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office, which is the lead agency in this active shooter response. Here's a video from the FBI on the investigation.
Thank you, Chief. So first off, my name is David Bowditch. I'm the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI here in the Los Angeles Field Office. B-O-W-D-I-C-H. First off, we want to extend our true sadness to the families of the victims. There are many, many victims who were involved here. Some are obviously deceased, others are wounded and being treated as we speak. This is truly a tragedy in our country, and we will continue to apply all the resources necessary to assure that both us, the Sheriff's Department, the San Bernardino Police Department, as well as the ATF, work this thing together to assure that we have chased down every lead to solve this case. Secondly, we are bringing in FBI resources. We have agents on a house in Redlands, California right now. That house, as we know, we do not know the contents of what's in that house, but previous active shooter incidents have shown us that there are times when devices are left behind. We do not have any indications there are devices to my knowledge, but we certainly are going to proceed very cautiously into that house to preserve life and limb of our employees. We're bringing evidence response teams in to work hand in hand with our state and local partners on the officer-involved shooting scenes, as well as the scene here where we have multiple victims, as well as the house. We will continue to go down this road. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I know one of the big questions that will come up repeatedly is this terrorism? And I am still not willing to say that we know that for sure. We are definitely making some movements that it is a possibility. We are making some adjustments to our investigation. It is a possibility, but we don't know that yet. And we're not willing to go down that road yet.
David, the relationship between the two dead suspects?
Unknown at this point.
How old approximately are they?
I do not even know that.
This is a third suspect. There was talk of a third suspect.
There is a third suspect, and I don't know the disposition of that suspect. I would defer to that question to the chief. What I will tell you on any indications of terrorism or this investigation, and I've told a few of you already, we will go where the evidence takes us. Now, it's possible it goes down that road. It's also possible it does not. We're just not sure yet, and when we are fairly sure, we will let you know.
David, do you have a motive for this?
Possibly terrorism.
There are a number of potential, and there's a few potential things, but we just don't know, and I'm not willing to go down that road. This is a very fluid, active investigation. We are still gathering facts. All the heads of agencies that we have here, we are still gathering some of these facts ourselves, because this scene is strewn throughout the city and into another city, and it's incredibly fluid, and that's just the way these things, we'll get there when we get there.
It was reported that the garage the couple had looked like an explosive manufacturing facility, that the couple had recently gone to Saudi Arabia last May. It's not known what they did, who they saw, and how long they were there. Amid reports that at least 14 people were killed and 17 injured in the shooting today, some presidential candidates offered their prayers and thoughts for victims of the attack. Other Democratic candidates called for action to stop gun violence. Democrats are immediately coming out swinging against guns. Reeling from the mass shooting in San Bernardino, Democrats in Washington will try to force the Senate to vote Thursday on legislation to stem gun violence. The specific measures are still being considered, but they would be proposed as amendments to a GOP package to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Passage of any effort to limit access to firearms appears unlikely, as Congress has been unable to build support for toughening the nation's gun laws in the face of opposition from the National Rifle Association. Other measures, including one to provide funding for federal health officials to study gun violence, may find broader support in Congress. Senator Harry Reid of Nevada, the Democratic leader, said after Wednesday's shooting in California that gun violence has become a cancer on the nation. And here's some candidates' statements on the shooting. Clinton said, "I refuse to accept this as normal. We must take action to stop gun violence now." Trump provided this statement, "California shooting looks very bad. Good luck to law enforcement, and God bless. This is when our police are so appreciated." Sanders said, "Mass shootings are becoming almost daily occurrences. This sickening and senseless gun violence must stop." Carson said, "My thoughts and prayers are with the shooting victims and their families." Bush provided this comment, "Prayers for the victims, their families, and the San Bernardino first responders in the wake of the tragic shootings." Huckabee offered this, "Praying for those impacted by the shooting in California today." Kasich said, "My thoughts and prayers go out to those impacted by the shooting in San Bernardino, especially the first responders." Now stay with us for news from the Ridgecrest City Council when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. In City Council news, the City Council held their regular meeting yesterday evening. Here's the results of the meeting. The Council approved an award of a construction contract to DBX Incorporated for the construction of the traffic synchronization project from California Avenue to College Heights Boulevard in the amount of $224,000. This project includes hardware, software, and labor to install equipment for the city to monitor and control all the city traffic lights on South China Lake Boulevard. Next, the council accepted 2 grant easements for roadway purposes from Southern California Edison for the Down Street widening project. Then the council approved a contract change order for the amount of $3,400 with the contractor Griffith Company for the Richmond Road project. Next, the council authorized the application for a financial assistance application with the State Water Resource Control Board. Then the council approved the release of Water Blasters Incorporated from their existing lease on a city building. In the more interesting discussion and other action items section of the meeting, the council received a presentation and accepted for filing the other post-employment benefits actuarial study as of June 30th, prepared by Nyhard Company. Then the council had a discussion of transit occupancy tax audit options. They wanted to review and have a proposal from staff. The council approved doing an in-house audit of local motels and hotels to make sure they're reporting and paying TOT taxes accurately. This has been a concern of Mayor Breeden from the start of her term. She also recommended to staff to look into subscribing to a reporting system that almost all hotels and motels subscribe to. This is a system that all lodge suppliers reports their occupancy numbers. She heard the annual cost of subscribing is $3,000. Next, the council pulled from the agenda a review and discussion of the special consultant agreement between the City of Ridgecrest and Justin O'Neill. And they also pulled a discussion of revised water conservation and landscaping ordinance amendments. In the proposed ordinance section of the meeting, the council approved on first reading of an ordinance amending the Ridgecrest Municipal Code as it relates to medical marijuana cultivation facilities. As a result, in addition to the city's prohibition on marijuana sales facilities in the city, now they have approved the prohibition of cultivation facilities as well. This ordinance does nothing to prohibit the use of medical marijuana in the city. That is still permitted. It only prohibits the sale and cultivation in the city. Now, with an update of the dissatisfaction of Congress on how the White House is handling the war on ISIS, we get this report from Democrat Congresswoman Gabbard. She has increasingly clashed with President Barack Obama on national security. She suggested Tuesday that the president's decision to send American fighter jets on the Syrian-Turkish border to target Russian planes could lead to nuclear war with President Vladimir Putin. Russia's installation of their anti-aircraft missile defense system increases that possibility of whether it's an intentional or even accidental event where one side may shoot down the other side's plane. The 2-term Hawaii Democrat told Defense Secretary Ash Carter at a hearing of the Armed Services Committee. And that's really where the potential is for this devastating nuclear war. She added that Obama's long-standing opposition to Syrian President Assad, who is backed by Moscow, could exacerbate the situation. Gabbard, 34, a major in the Hawaii Army National Guard, who has served in Iraq and Kuwait, has openly opposed President Obama on Syria, especially after the November 13th Paris attacks by the Islamic State that left 130 dead and 368 wounded. She has argued that Assad should be left in power to help destroy ISIS and has introduced legislation to defund efforts by the United States to overthrow the dictator. In response to Gabbard's remarks, Carter said that U.S. disagreement with Russia was more of a diplomatic problem, not a military danger. We have a different view, a very different view from Russia about what would be constructive for them to do in Syria, Carter said. That's not the same as the United States and Russia clashing. Well, today is supposed to be the 100th KZGN News Talking Points editorial. However, because of the lengthy coverage of the San Bernardino shooting, I will not be presenting an editorial today. I have so much I could say about today's events, but I'll wait. However, now is not the time to turn it into a political war, as the Democrats are already doing. Now is the time to just let the investigation proceed and reach the answers and conclusions that everyone is asking. I'll do the 100th editorial next Tuesday. We close with happy news. This Saturday, the city will hold their annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony at City Hall. There will be singing and tours of trees inside City Hall. There will also be hot chocolate and snacks served. The event's star attraction will be the lighting of the huge tree in the circle in front of City Hall. All this starts at 5:30 and ends with the tree lighting at 6:30. Join the city for a very happy event. Oh, and as a side note, there will be a Christmas parade again this year. It will be held next Saturday, December 12th. Put this on your calendar now. We'll have more details about this next week. Now stay with us for weather, sports, and Burrows bits when we come back.
From the Burroughs High School TV studio, I'm Sierra Rint with the Burroughs Video Bits for Thursday, December 3rd, 2015. Let's take a look at how the athletes of the school are doing from the burrowsathletics.org website.
This is Michael McKinney from the high school varsity football team. I want to thank everybody for the great season we had. We made it to the second round of CIF, even though we fell short to La Quinta High School 55-26. I want to shout out to all the seniors for a great year, and it's a great day to be a Burrow.
The Great Strides Walk to Cure Cystic Fibrosis is Saturday, December 5th at the Saracoso College track. Registration is at 9:30 and the walk starts at 10. Don't forget to check your closets for extra coats. The Friends of Rachel Club is collecting jackets and outerwear to donate to the Salvation Army. This Friday is Pajama Day. Be sure to dress up to earn spirit points for your grade. Give the gift of reading this Christmas. December 4th is our Faculty Parent Preview Day, open from 7:15 a.m. to 4 p.m. The book fair is then open to everyone December 7th through 11th, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sierra Sands Unified School District is seeking parent and community participation on the District Leadership Committee. Members of this committee are responsible for reviewing and providing input on district goals, actions, and services aligned to the 8 state priorities to improve student achievement. For the Burroughs High School TV broadcast of Ridgecrest, California, this is Sierra Rint.
Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, a significant winter storm will bring a variety of weather hazards to Washington and Oregon on Thursday, with damaging winds, heavy mountain snow, ice, and heavy rainfall are expected. Elsewhere, heavy rainfall is expected across South Florida, and the first significant snowfall of the year is expected in northern Maine. Temperatures across the nation: Carolinas at 55, Georgia at 46, Arkansas at 52, northern Texas at 58, Arizona at 65, and LA at 72. And for us locally, tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 38, west wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 63, west-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 33, north-northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, sunny with a high near 62, northeast wind 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 34, east wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 61, north-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low around 33, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 64, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. Now here's Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Thursday early evening to everyone. And let's talk some sports tonight with Patrick Sell. Patrick, a broadcast interest student. And Patrick, a student at Saracoso, also a member of the Saracoso baseball team. Let's start with Stephon Curry. He scores 40 points tonight. His team beats Charlotte. They're 20-0, best start in NBA history, being coached by the interim Luke Walton because Steve Kerr had back surgery, still out. What do we think about this, Patrick?
Well, Steph Curry is a force not to be reckoned with. You know, he's having time of his career, and in addition, a lot of team chemistry. You know, he's unlike you got a guy like Kobe who's going out there scoring 40, 50 points a game. you got Curry's doing the same thing, and he's getting 40 assists on the side. So it makes for great team chemistry.
It sure does. Now let's go from the best to the worst. The 76ers broke their 18-game losing streak last night. They beat the Lakers, of all people. But the fame didn't go very long, and the streak was broken tonight as they lose to the Knicks in New York. Now let's talk about the Lakers. The Lakers on the road beat the Wizards on Wednesday night, if you can believe that. The Lakers now are 3-15. That's a good win over the Wizards. The Wizards aren't a bad team, and the Lakers back-to-back games, and so Lakers have won 2 of their 3 games on the road, of all things. And David Price, let's go to baseball now, $217 million richer. 7 years he has signed with the Boston Red Sox, played for Toronto last year, kind of a hired gun that they got towards the end of the season. What do we think about that?
It was very interesting seeing David Price go to the Red Sox. For starters, old rivalry, coming from Tampa Bay, went to the AL East, played for the went over there to the Blue Jays, where also strong rivalry with the Red Sox. Very interesting to see how this affects the chemistry in a clubhouse that is already known to have some problems.
All right, that's a good point. All right, Mark Richt, if that name sounds familiar, well, on Monday he was fired by the Georgia Bulldogs after 6 years, and today, Wednesday, 48 hours later, or Wednesday night I should say, he was signed by the Hurricanes of Miami, if you can believe that. So without a job just for only a couple days, and it'll be interesting if he's a good fit for that program. All right, the BCS series will be coming up soon. Teams finishing up this weekend with regular season games, or they're playing the playoff games for the conference. Clemson 12-0. They have 1 game left against North Carolina. Bama 11-1. They play Florida. Florida lost to Florida State big last week. Oklahoma's at number 3, 11-1. They're idle. They will probably be in the top 4 for certain. They beat Oklahoma State in Stillwater badly last Saturday. And Iowa, 12-0, plays Michigan State for the Big 12 championship. And that's a huge game because the winner of that game will have a chance to be in the top 4. The loser will be out. And USC will play Stanford at the Coliseum Saturday at 4:45. The winner of that game more than likely will go to the Rose Bowl. Stanford with an outside chance of the BCS. Patrick, what do we think about the BCS? The top 4 teams play on New Year's Eve. Winners play 2 weeks later for a national championship.
Well, it's going to be very exciting. You got a few undefeated teams, so it's their game to lose. So, everyone's looking for a great upset. So we'll see. USC, home field advantage. So again, right there in the Coliseum. Great. You have a lot of great power and momentum behind them. So we'll see how it pans out.
USC beat UCLA easily last week by a score of 41-21. That game was over at the LA Coliseum. Well, that's your sports for this Thursday early evening. I'm Tom Heck with Patrick Sell for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of the KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next.